We've got 7 minutes. I have a lot to share. I'll speak very fast, so you have to pay attention. It's called SOLO. It says stories, opinions, learnings, and outcomes. I have lots of opinions. And I thought hard about how I will utilize these 7 minutes best. I need the clicker, in fact. Yeah. And you have to stop my time for that much.
You got more minutes.
Yeah, perfect. I thought about what I should share. There are tons and tons of opinions, but there's one that I'm particularly passionate about. In fact, I am writing a research paper with one of my professors from Harvard, and I thought I'll bring this here and try and package it in 7 minutes flat. Let's now race. Where do I still have 7 minutes. The time favors me. This is something that I call the virtuous cycle of the 3 V's: valuation, value, and a value system. Before I deep dive into this, let me give you a quick context. What am I? It's not 23, it's 30. This is my 30th year, and I'm a student of retail. I've worked for most part of my career, 20 out of the 30, with the Tata Group in India. I was a founder member of an organization called Trend, doing extremely well right now. It's the talk of the town, doing very well on the stock market, doing very well in all financial and customer metrics. I was, as a part of that, involved with various brands. You know, we had a partnership with Tesco, partnership with Zara. I've worked with, I was part of something called the Business Excellence cohort in the Tata Group, and therefore worked with many other brands inside, consumer and retail brands inside the Tata Group, and now, of course, with the Landmark Group. I was in the middle also for 1.5 years, managing my family office and looking at the opportunity of investing. My family has generated some reasonable amount of capital through real estate investments, and I was trying to look at how to diversify that. And that's when the aspect of valuation and a deep study of the correlation between value and valuation came about. But what I like particularly, I just want to leave this one point on the table. What I like particularly about retail, and why I refer to myself as a student, is as a retailer, you are so plugged in to everything that's happening around you. It's the social, political, and economic environment around you is something that you just cannot afford to ignore. Everything that happens around you, positive, negative, adversity, celebration, anything that happens, you have to be clued in directly because you're connected to consumers and on a day-to-day basis. And that's what makes you the student. That's what makes you somebody who is very tuned in to how businesses interact with this rise and fall that humanity is. Quickly back to the topic. What I intended to do, the clock is running, what I intended to do was, in this conversation on giving you my learnings and my opinions about this triumvirate of valuation, value, and value system, give examples from Trent, so that it's not something which is just theory, but supported by examples. This is on the screen is the stock performance of Trent, which I was a part of. It's a publicly listed company. The last 5 years, 1,500% returns as opposed to the Sensex, which is about 128%, about a 12x, 11x, 12x. Even if I take the last 25 years for which Trent has been in existence, it is about 83,000%. So massive. The point is the returns, the performance of the organization and the stock, therefore the valuation has been exceptional. The only thing I want to point out is if I look at the lifespan, the first 15 years, the stock wasn't performing very well. It was barely at par with the Sensex. The next 5 years, about 2.5x of Sensex. And it's only in the last 5 years of its existence that it has managed to outperform the Sensex so radically. And there is a lesson, there is a story, there is a very interesting observation. And I know that there is something that we have a lot of startup players in the room, so I think the message is perhaps even more relevant and more potent. Coming back, here's the interplay. And this is controversial. Most successful organizations, most successful leaders in business and also in retail ignore valuation. Because what is valuation? Valuation is a perception of the current value of the business and a speculation of the future value. It's fuzzy. A lot of people who are involved with the stock market will not like my saying this. Yes, there is research. Yes, there are fundamentals. But there is a very strong element of perception and interpretation. Strong leaders, good leaders, successful businesses ignore valuation What I mean by that is not that they are not conscious of what's happening with valuation of their business. They don't get led by it. There is empirical evidence, and my research paper will publish it, of organizations which have chased valuation have actually destroyed value. It's organizations that have focused on value or have obsessed over value, most successful. And you can give examples of, whether it's Steve Jobs from Apple, or and it's very common to look at Apple, Tesla, Google, Amazon, look at Bezos of Amazon. These are organizations led by leaders who are completely obsessed with value, finding that compelling benefit that can be offered to consumers and customers, that unmet need, or that unmet want for that matter. But not only is it about finding that unmet need and want and giving a benefit to the customer, it is also about creating profitable growth. There are two words there, profit, but growth as well. Profit, not profit that's static, but profit that can continuously grow. So by design, an organization which does not offer or create profit once, but does that repeatedly. And the last part, which is very critical, is institutionalizing the value system. The value system is beliefs and behaviors. We also call it culture. But not just a culture that's on paper, a culture that's embedded. And that's easier said than done. Culture that's embedded in the organization through people and processes. Any organization that's successful, any leader that's landed success, disproportionate or otherwise, I guarantee you, satisfies these three rules of the three V's, manages the interplay of these three rules, ignores valuation, is not led by valuation, is obsessed with value not just for the customer, but also for the investor and the shareholder, and painstakingly, excruciatingly often, but very, very convincingly creates a lasting system that can create sustainable value. Value is irrelevant, insignificant, and meaningless if it is generated for the short term. It has to be repeatedly generated. Therefore, we are postulating that it's at this intersection of creating value for the customer and the investor and creating a system of culture and capabilities. Culture is the beliefs and the behaviors, and capability is really your people and processes, technology, all inclusive, that can actually generate. Magic lies at that intersection. Again, there are examples. I have 20 seconds left. There are examples galore. Time does not permit, but any example of successful businesses, any example of successful leaders lies and holds true as far as these principles are concerned. That's my learning. That's my opinion. Thank you very much. Very happy to share. Would love to converse after this session and share more over dinner and drinks. Thank you.